I think 20 or 22% is the average that if you post something on Facebook, that it will actually show up in one of your friends' feeds. And why is that? Because Facebook can make money.
They want to
right?
make money.
They can make
Yeah.
money,
Now
but it's cheap. It's cheap. So that's really how you promote yourself.
Yeah, I had a thought and then I lost it. I was all ready to say something, and you sparked some inspiration, and it just
Have another beer.
It evaporated. Yeah, it just evaporated.
Can I jump in for a second? While you regather. I couldn't agree more with than what Tony was just saying. I guess the whole premise of the panel is the future of the industry, and the answer is that the artist is more empowered than ever before. You make music, hopefully it's good, it should be good, but you've put your heart and soul into it. Take up Tony's offer, you can get it up for free straight away, promote it, market it, but there's a long road ahead, and it's really up to you. Of all the artists I've worked with over 30 odd years, there's not one that's still making great music and making money that hasn't put in hard work constantly over the journey of their career. So I think the tools are there, there's no question. I think the passion needs to be there, and the commitment needs to be there from the artist, and I think from the show of hands there are more artists here than other members of the musical community. The one thing I would say is that's the one thing that you have to kind of grab and go with more than anything else.
I remember what I was saying. Tony's Facebook comment sparked the inspiration that evaporated. Now it's back. So if you're in the business of subscription content like Netflix or Spotify, you think about your business as the difference or the delta in mathematical terms between the total lifetime value of a customer and the total cost to acquire that customer. So if you're an artist and you're building a brand and you're building this long-term relationship with your fans, I would submit to the artists in the audience, I know this is a very business way to think about your music, but I'm the business guy, okay? Think about what is the total lifetime value of your fans, and how much could you or should you spend in terms of your resources to acquire another fan or more fans. Facebook advertising can be very effective if you understand that ratio, for example.
And that also depends on how creative you are and how strongly you think about monetizing your music.
Right.
You know, we have a client by the name of a band by the name of I Fight Dragons, and he at one point in time he wrote an article and he said he was adding 200 names a week to his mailing list. That's a lot of names to add to your mailing list. And I asked him, how do you do this? This was like 7 years ago. And he says, we're constantly recording, we're constantly putting out new songs and messaging our fans and potential fans to download it. And then when we find new fans, you know, we have them downloaded in exchange for an email address. And then what we do is we go to other artists that we know who are playing in similar genre like us, and we cover one of their songs. We make a deal. We cover one of their songs. They cover one of our songs. And then we each message our client base. And so all of a sudden, we're cross-pollinating, and we're getting more names. And it's, again, free download for an email address. Then he had this thing where he made this offer, which was, I thought, amazing. They had done a couple of independent releases, and they made an offer that for $100, a fan could buy a USB stick with all the music on it that they had already recorded. And if they spent $100, they would get all the music that the band was going to ever release. And if the band was in town for a concert and they brought the USB stick, they could get in free in any concert. So they sold out in, it was a limited run. It was $100. It was a limited run of 200. They sold out in like an hour. They made $20,000 in an hour. It went so fast, PayPal thought there was fraud going on. They shut down their account. And they had to argue with PayPal to open it back up. And why? Because that's great value. They offer great value. And your job is to not just think of fans as fans, but think of them as customers. And think of them, you know, customers want value. If you offer them something that has value, they're going to buy, so long as the product is good.
Yeah, and one thing just to add to the conversation that I think it's important, you mentioned like seeing, like you're the business guy, but I think artists should have that perspective as well. When you look at fans as customers, you should look at yourself as a business too, and to stay in this.
Assuming that's your mission, to make money, and, you know,
Exactly.
and make great music. If you're just doing it to make great music, that's fine too.
Exactly, which is great, but to be sustainable, it's really important. It has been becoming more and more important. When you have 900 more, almost 1 million artists in your roster, if you will. So that's basically a large demographic of independent artists. Do you see a lot of them when they get to the higher sales, like migrating to record labels, to other companies, or they stay independent because they reached that level? And the ones that stay, what have they?
We see both. Obviously, you know, being able to make 91% of all your wholesale revenues yourself is pretty compelling. And we see artists certainly who get up. Look, the United States, like Brazil, United States is a very large market, right? And there are label opportunities. Where does a label add value? A label adds value by giving you access to things that you cannot get as an independent artist. Get on the radio. Get on a Lollapalooza tour or a Vans Warped tour. You know, or other get you know, an opening slot with a major act on a tour to help build your client base. Those are the kinds of things that a label can help you with that we can't. So that's you know, that's basically you know, where things are going. And we see artists that come off of labels. They don't have the label promo machine behind them. You know, I think the statistic is typically of all the wholesale, let's talk digital music, right? The wholesale dollars that you get, the label generally takes about 70 to 73%. 16% goes to the publisher and the songwriter, and the rest, about 11%, goes to the artist. So, you know, if you distribute yourself, the 16% still has to go to the publisher. 9%, let's say, goes to CD Baby. The artist gets 75%. So what we've seen is artists that came off a major label. They are selling half the music that they were before because they don't have the label behind them, but they're making way more money than they ever did as being on the label. Now, that's not right for every artist, and if you don't have direct fan relationships, certainly a lot of older artists don't have direct fan relationships because they were always on a label, then going independent may not be the right thing for you.
Eu queria agora...
Não, só comentar que, como eu acompanho também o dia a dia da Som Livre, isso é uma discussão bem comum hoje em dia, né? Considerando que os royalties de gravadora vão mais ou menos nesse universo de 80% ou 70% para mim e 20% ou 30% para o artista. O mais comum hoje é eles sentarem com a gente e falar assim, não, mas espera aí, eu tenho 70% no CD Baby, ou eu tenho 70%, 80% na One RPM. E uma provocação que a gente faz é, se a gente consegue acrescentar esse valor, ele tem um percentual maior de uma fatia maior. Ele tem um percentual menor, mas de uma fatia maior. Então, assim, se o tamanho da pizza é o mesmo, para ele está perdendo dinheiro. Mas se a pizza aumenta, ele está ganhando mais dinheiro proporcionalmente. Então, acho que esse é o segredo. Nem sempre a gente consegue que os artistas tenham essa percepção, mesmo com tudo que a gente faz. Às vezes o cara ainda está insatisfeito, está reclamando e fala, não, então vou terminar meu contrato e vou assinar direto com a One RPM. A gente tem casos de artistas muito grandes que hoje são independentes, até artistas sertanejos, artistas populares que estão fazendo esse caminho, mas, de certa forma, eles passaram pelo esquema tradicional para construir essa relevância, essa comunicação com o público. Eles não estão fazendo isso do zero, então talvez por isso seja que o resultado possa ser melhor. Mas tem muito artista que já saiu de grandes gravadoras, estão trabalhando independente e estão ganhando proporcionalmente mais dinheiro do que quando estavam com uma companhia.
Eu queria abrir agora para as perguntas da plateia, para a gente continuar o debate com a pergunta de todos. Só é difícil de enxergar quem está com o microfone.
Aqui. Boa noite, sou o Vini. Queria saber de vocês, até por Paulo, assim, falando de Brasil, né? A gente vê que nossa indústria, ela é muito injusta. A gente está falando aqui, a gente sabe cada vez mais como artista, como cantor, como compositor que sou, que a gente tem que chegar com o trabalho pronto, né? Hoje, como vocês falaram, chegar com o trabalho pronto para que um label desse consiga assimilar dentro do casting de artistas. Por exemplo, eu tenho formação também em publicidade. Então, eu consegui ter uma instrução ali do marketing, de saber me portar, de começar um trabalho, de ir engateando ali nessa parte também. Mas muitos artistas e muitos amigos meus também, e eu também me sinto, né, nesse meio todo despreparado ali para assumir essa frente ao mercado, que a gente não tem uma estrutura hoje, no nosso próprio país, eu acho, no geral, para preparar esse artista, né? Eu vejo que a gente está anos-luz assim, atrás de outras indústrias, de indústrias que investem, principalmente a norte-americana, que para achar um Justin Bieber da vida, que com 7 anos começa a tocar bateria, mas o cara já está ali investindo uma migalhinha ali em você, lhe preparando, lhe dando aula, lhe dando recurso, para que talvez você estoure lá na frente, você mais uns 50. E de 50 ele tiram 2 que viram o mainstream da parada. E eu sinto falta disso no Brasil hoje, de ver empresas e a indústria que incentive isso, ou com escolas, com algum tipo de incentivo próprio, para que esses artistas tenham parâmetros. Acho que as gravadoras poderiam dar um pouco disso de recurso. Assim. A gente está falando de mercado, vocês falaram muito de mercado, falaram muito de números, falaram muito de retorno financeiro, e a gente sabe, ninguém aqui é ingênuo e ninguém aqui é criança de pensar que não. E o próprio artista hoje que se torna independente, eu mesmo estou fazendo meu álbum hoje, botando no Catarse, e etc., tentando viabilizar a minha história. A gente sabe disso tudo, mas o que é que eu queria saber, o que é que vocês pensam com relação a essa formação do artista, por exemplo, que é só artista. Então, a gente tem uns puta talento que a gente vê por aqui, mesmo passando, que só são artistas. Infelizmente, eles talvez nunca apareçam, porque eles não têm quem puxe eles, nem mesmo nenhum lugar que eles possam chegar assim, bater na porta e falar assim, pô, você consegue me profissionalizar, você consegue me ajudar, consegue me dar algum incentivo, enfim. Dentro de tudo que a gente falou de coisa que a gente já pode pegar, beleza. A gente já sabe disso, que tá tudo aí, a informação está aí, mas...
A gente ainda investe, as gravadoras, quer dizer, as companhias ainda investem em artistas, ou em alguns casos iniciais desde o início, né? O caso do Thiago que eu comentei, o próprio caso da Gadu, o Silva, que é um artista que foi assinado depois de lançar o primeiro EP, e ele está agora no 4º disco. Se você pensar bem, a gente investiu em 4 discos dele durante 5 anos para ter essa construção. Mas é um pouco reflexo, cara, do nosso país, assim, né? Como o investimento em cultura no país, de uma forma geral, cultura e educação não é muito forte, ou é menor do que a gente gostaria. Cara, a gente mesmo é que tem que meio que mudar essa realidade na garra, assim, meio que fazendo, se associando a outras pessoas. Se por acaso você quer se concentrar só na arte, você precisa ter alguém que saiba ou queira se concentrar no negócio. Se você souber do negócio, melhor, mas você tem que ter alguém que trabalhe contigo e possa ajudar. Mas é um pouco, cara, o fenômeno do Brasil, assim, a gente não investe muito em cultura, infelizmente, apesar da música ser talvez um dos maiores produtos de exportação, ou um dos maiores produtos característicos do Brasil. Tem alguns movimentos da EBMA, alguns movimentos, inclusive o SIM participa muito disso, de trazer, de exportar, de profissionalizar, dar esse suporte, Mas, cara, com políticas públicas e com a situação que o país hoje passa, é um pouco difícil também depender só das empresas. Eu acho que é um negócio bem maior, que tem a ver com cultura, com fundo de incentivo, com os editais para festival, para projeto, para banda nova. Eu acho que é um cenário bem maior, que precisa ser fomentado, mas eu vejo com bons olhos, tá? Eu acho que talvez para um artista novo hoje em dia o cenário seja muito mais favorável do que há 5 anos atrás ou há 10 anos atrás, quando essas ferramentas também não estavam disponíveis. Então é um pouco, cara, trabalho, infelizmente é hard work, é muito trabalho mesmo. Tem que ter conteúdo, tem que contar com sorte, com hora certa no lugar certo, com alguma oportunidade que vai te levar para um outro lugar. Mas é trabalho, cara, é dedicação, construir esse relacionamento, essa conversa com o seu público, até para que você não dependa de outras pessoas e você tenha mais essa sobreexistência. O exemplo que ele deu aqui é muito bacana. Eu conheço casos de artistas que têm uma audiência talvez pequena, mas que os caras pagam $10 ou alguma coisa por mês, e esse cara tem um salário, às vezes, de $5.000, porque ele tem 500 pessoas pagando tantos dólares por mês para que ele faça aquele conteúdo para elas. Então, existem vários caminhos também, cara. E uma coisa que precisa saber é qual é o tamanho ou qual é o mercado que você quer ocupar. Você não precisa ser um artista popular para ter sucesso ou para ter reconhecimento. Então, também saber aonde que você quer chegar e o que você está disposto a fazer para chegar nesse lugar.
I have a little bit to add to that. So I think part of your question was related to developing as an artist and being able to go to a school or some place for that. There's actually a very good example of this model that you're talking about, not in Brazil, but in South Korea. Now, we're a market leader in South Korea, and it's wildly different than sort of what you represent, Tony. It's these labels. They produce groups. They put them together when they're young. They train them. They teach them to sing. They teach them to dance. They teach them how to act in the public eye, and they own everything. So it's different from, Tony represents independence. They own their own content, their own brand. They're in charge. It's basically the opposite of that. And if there's a need for that in the market, maybe there's an entrepreneur in the room that can help bring that type model to Brazil. I don't know. I just want to make the point that that model does exist in some places like South Korea.
I mean, if I can add a cynical capitalist point, I think your point is absolutely right, but it's not lack of government funding that is holding back artists. When I see the government funding that we get in the United States for anything like this is zero. We spend all our money on weapons, and but when I see the funding down here in Brazil, in Argentina, in Chile, the countries that I've been traveling to, it's way, way higher. In Canada, there's more. There's a delegation of Australians here, all paid for by the government. That does not exist in the United States, and yet artists, work. Maybe it's the lack of funding that forces artists to be more self-sufficient. But, we have a saying in English, and it applies to artists. And the saying goes, we have seen the enemy, and it is us. And because we have a lot of, on our blog here, somosmusica.com, we have a lot of great educational content. We have it in Portuguese, we have it in Spanish, we have it in English. We make it our business to help educate our artists. And I thought, recently, that there would be a great opportunity to start a kind of university for musicians to learn not just more about songwriting and recording, but to learn the business side, about managing social media, about how to set up and grow a mailing list, and how to communicate with fans. And so we had a test. I did a test, and I thought this was not going to be a university like Berkeley. Nothing against Berkeley, but Berkeley is very expensive. It's $1,200, $1,500 a course online. I decided I'm going to test something else, and we had like 10 classes of 10 hours of stuff, video content, and I decided to sell it for $9. $9 stinking dollars. And nobody bought. Nobody bought. Why? Because we have seen the enemy and it is us. And the artists want to do what's fun. Artists want to play music, you want to write songs, you want to rehearse, you want to play live. But the work stuff is hard. And so it takes an exceptional kind of artist, like you guys, you're here to learn, who is willing to invest in the work side of the business. And those are the artists that move ahead. And you're here, you're concerned about that, and you're worried about your friends who are staying behind, but they're not worried because they're behind. They're fat and happy, or maybe they're skinny and happy because they're, they're artists. So it's really inside. It's about inside and being self-motivated.
Para adicionar só último ponto também, é importante lembrar que você falou o que tem aí para os artistas que são só artistas, né? Assim é um grande exemplo disso, né? Metade da sala levantou a mão aqui como artistas. A outra metade são profissionais da indústria que estão aqui justamente para ajudar artistas a se desenvolverem, a prestar esse apoio, a criar esse time ao redor desses artistas. E acho que a lição fundamental é essa questão de empreendedorismo, de se ver como uma empresa, de se ver como um negócio e correr atrás e buscar esses elementos, né? A informação é altamente acessível em qualquer lugar, em todos esses sites que a gente conhece, YouTube e tudo. As escolas, as universidades servem como uma boa curadoria dessas informações, assim como as gravadoras. E a gente vê o crescimento cada vez mais de cursos para os negócios da música, que servem tanto para os profissionais quanto para os artistas aprenderem a navegar, e isso vem surgindo e crescendo cada vez mais em todas as cidades do Brasil, e inclusive através de cursos online, sejam caros ou baratos, né, estão todos disponíveis. Então acho que essa frase é excelente, né? We seen the enemy and it's us. É justamente o que a gente tem que enfrentar e não esperar que a coisa venha, mas ir atrás da coisa, né?
I think that was the longest answer ever to one question asked. Warren, you want to talk another 5 minutes?
No more to add.
Próxima pergunta.
Oi. Alô? Eu queria fazer uma pergunta para o Tony. Posso fazer em português? O meu inglês é very bad. Eu tenho um produto na CD Baby, distribuído para todas as lojas, que eu acredito muito nele. Ele são músicas de bar, tocadas com uma caixinha de música, um sampler que eu criei, para fazer o bebê dormir, um lullaby, né? Eu já tenho, desde antes do Natal do ano passado, isso distribuído pela CD Baby, e a minha venda foi espantosamente de 0 CDs. Queria saber aonde que eu estou errando, porque eu acredito muito no trabalho da CD Baby. Então, aonde que eu posso alavancar essa venda, ajudar a CD Baby me ajudar?
I get asked that question pretty often, and the answer is I don't know. All I know is this: the reason you're not selling music is because you haven't figured out a way to create demand for your music. And with a product with lullabies, which is a very specific niche, I would have a hard time kind of sitting here and coming up with strategy, because I don't really know that market. So, I mean, I've talked a lot about
well, you go
mailing
after
lists and
parents
social,
potentially, right?
Mailing lists and social, etc. What I might suggest is going a non-traditional route, and going to companies that make products for babies, going to companies or schools, that where parents go with newborn babies to learn whatever, or exercise classes for babies, and see if you can. This is around CD Baby. This is not about us, right? This is about your music. Are there ways to think creatively, again, as an entrepreneur, to go to companies that make baby milk or diapers or rattlers or whatever? And I am sure that there would be some companies that are interested in that. And I think down here in Brazil, you see a lot more companies, private companies, investing in in recordings and making CDs and helping, you know, using that to bolster their brand. And so maybe that's the way, because you can't go out and play live, right, and build up a mailing list. That doesn't work with lullabies. Babies don't have email yet. So, so maybe there's some alternative ways to do this.
I think that also, if you really, and this goes for everybody in the room that makes content, if you really know your audience, you know their demographic profile, their psychographic profile, what their affinities are, then you know how to reach them, right? You can go through all kinds of channels to reach them. And my first client in the music industry was a very, very popular rapper in the United States named Master P. He was top 3 in the late 90s, him, Jay-Z, and Puffy. And when people used to ask me, what kind of music do you like, Jason, I'd say anything but Dirty South rap, which was what Master P made. But the reality was, he knew his audience, and he sold 70 million records, 70 million records, because he gave his audience exactly what they wanted, how they wanted it.